We're Jess and Fredide and Winnie, of course. We've just completed a 6-month home renovation project on our London Victorian terrace, and now we're here to share the final results of our big project, turning this house into our dream home. We have no roof or shell or anything, it's completely gone. We're on top of the world. I know, I've been gone 5 minutes. Hi. Oh well, hello there, into the ensuite. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another room reveal. So I think this is probably like the most anticipated one that I have done. I'm so excited to share this room with you. This is our main bedroom. It's our loft space. It's the part of the house that did not exist before we started this build. So I am so excited to take you through every detail of it. Whilst the loft extension was going on, we absolutely loved going up the ladder onto the scaffolding every single evening when the builders left to check out the progress. So as you can see here, they stripped everything back, removed the roof and just left the original walls on each side of the house. Then they put in the steels for support, followed by building the timber frame, which also is a flat roof on top. And this is the shower room area, and then they put the roof on. We went for fibre cement slate, which is a cheaper alternative to natural slate and is more hard wearing. And then we installed the biggest Velux windows we could. It was so fun getting to kind of see the progress throughout. So even though it has been a complete journey living in the house whilst we've done the refurb, it was actually really lovely because we did get to see it at every step of the way. But also it's great because you rarely make mistakes, because if there was anything we wanted to change, the following day they'd come in, it would get sorted immediately. Whilst the scaffolding was up, we took advantage of having access to the outside of our house from the first and second floors, and we had all our pointing redone as well between the bricks.
Nice pointing.
Fresh pointing. It's looking good, like the old stuff. As you can see here, it's a crumbly mess. Like, our house is in such bad state. So they're doing it all, and as they go, they're just kind of filling it in. When initially designing this space, we couldn't decide whether we were going to do 2 bedrooms and a very, very small shower room, or have one larger bedroom with a larger ensuite and then a hallway area that can also double up as an office. We actually spoke to an estate agent when we were doing our plans, and we showed them both and said which would be worth more in like resale and which would sell quicker. And the estate agent actually told us that it didn't make a difference. 4-bed houses in the area sell, 3-bed houses in the area sell. So with that, we decided a 3-bed was better for us. So I'll pop the plans on the screen so you can see the layout of what I'm discussing. And this was actually quite a straightforward process to design because we had quite a few limitations here. There are planning restrictions in our area, so we had to do a certain height. We had to do a certain style of build. We weren't going to get away with putting dormers on the front, so we always knew this was going to be sloping ceilings. It's the shape of the roof, and that is the Velux windows above me. The main issue here was head height. We always knew this was going to be quite a pinched space, and my goal was to make it feel as like high ceilings as possible, keeping the beams exposed in the ceiling. So these beams aren't a design feature, they are the structural beams of this room. They hold the room up. Normally between the beams goes insulation, and then under the beams goes the plasterboard, which is fireproof, and also is where you'd hang your light fittings from. So we had to accept that if we were going to do the beams to increase the head height, we first of all couldn't have any ceiling lights, and secondly we had to get our builders to putting insulation and plasterboard on top of the beams, and then the roof went on. It's possible. It was a bit of a back and forth struggle at the start, but it did work, and it can work, and it is legal. The way to make it legal and approved by building control is that you have to use fire safety rated paint. So I will link the paint we used below. I think a 5 litre tin was £130, and it is fire rated for 30 minutes. You can also get 60 minutes, but 30 minutes is the law. The reason you have to paint them with fire safety paint is because it's timber, so it's flammable. And by putting the paint on, it then gives the timber a protection, like a fire resistant coating. If we hadn't gone with the beams, the plasterboard would have been like here. So it would have been at like quite a low ceiling, whereas now, even though you can't move your head in here, it just gives it more height.
If someone came that was like a basketball player, they could only walk in these channels.
Straight lines.
With their heads through here. It's going to be alright. Pickle to paint this lot, isn't it?
It really is, and we are painting it because
we?
What?
You.
You? No, you! Our roof was in such a bad state as well, and we just patched up when we moved in, and then we just had to resist doing any work to it for the first 2 years until we started this loft extension, because this roof was obviously never going to stay once we added that other floor, but it did cause quite a few leaks in our house, and there was no insulation in the loft. It was very chilly, but we got through it. One of the good things about doing a loft extension is that the first phase, the builders work outside, building the structure of the loft. So you are unaffected in your house until they're ready to cut through the ceiling to build the staircase in. This means that the bulk of the work doesn't actually really affect your living situation. It only gets messy when they cut that ceiling and there is a lot of dust and debris in your house. Okay, so progress since we were last up here. They've started plasterboarding the walls now. Yeah, plasterboard.
Pocket door.
Pocket door frame has started to be built. So obviously because of just the space in this area, opening it out, we wanted to maximise floor space and stuff, and just a pocket door seemed like the most sensible and costly idea. On that note, if you look back at the plans, you can see that we have designed walk-through wardrobe area into the ensuite. So we had intended to do wardrobes either side, and then priorities was the pocket door just for space. It meant that the way the frame was built, you need to have the same width as the door in the wall, so the door can obviously slide into the wall, and it meant that then the door was going to be off center because the width just would never allow for that to make the door center, which was a little bit frustrating, because I would definitely say like the one issue with the room is clothes storage. Like, we don't have wardrobes in there, so we keep all our wardrobe stuff on the first floor, which obviously isn't a problem, but I don't know, I don't know if like long term it's gonna be, that's not gonna work. And here it is. It's gonna be the door to the bedroom. You either can have the door upstairs like this, or it needs to be at the base of the stairwell down there for fire regulations. Decided to have it up here because I like the open space feel of this area, and I like that feeling of downstairs having that open space. So because our staircases are stacked, it's like the banister just continues and there's no door blocking it. I quite like that. Then we've got this little space here.
Look, them putting all their wiring through.
Light switch, and we're gonna have a socket here. I don't know if I've told them about that, but there's not one. Planning your electrics is a big deal, and it has to be done early on. So as you can see, like, the frame really isn't even finished being built and they've already wired the room. So I'm just gonna drop in what our electric plan looked like. I color coordinated it. It took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted. Obviously you can chat this through with your builder or your electrician, and they're gonna be able to advise, you know, they are the experts. Our electrician actually gave us a great tip. So we were doing beams across the whole ceiling, and he recommended not doing beams into where that kind of black closet walk-through wardrobe area was going to be. So we do have one spotlight in the ceiling there. What I would say is whatever you think you need in terms of lighting, go with more, because I was trying to be quite frugal with it being £60 a socket point or switch point or light fitting. And then my electrician was just like, you just need to put in more, you'll regret it otherwise. And he was so right. And always try and have at least 4 light sources in a room. That is the interior design rule. I don't make the rules, they are the rules though. These are still looking good, my exposed beams.
Oh, it's cased that in.
But yeah, there we go, that's all done now. So they've cased all the plasterboard around. it's quite a job to do that. It's very fiddly. This is all going to be painted the same colour though. The beams, the ceiling, the walls, the skirtings, just to give even more height. So you wanted these bricks exposed and you didn't speak soon enough.
I didn't, I was joking. They're a right mess. If they were nice bricks, maybe. Look at that.
Yeah.
Some Victorian was having a right laugh.
Yeah. Sloppy. Yeah. That'd be me if I was a bricklayer. I just love my staircase. So we've been discussing maybe hanging a pendant light from here that kind of drops down. So also, we've now got to start thinking about paint colours in this area. Sorry. Got to start thinking about paint colours in this area. We are going to do it white because we're just going to try and maximise the feeling of space, but I don't want like pure brilliant white. So I need to order some samples of those. And I've also got some lick samples downstairs, so I'm going to bring them up and stick them on soon. Have a little look. Okay, so we have just done the third coat in here. It's looking fantastic. Thinking that that is probably going to be it for now until we can get our builder to approve it. The beams have obviously like drunk the paint and we've almost finished this 5-litre tin. It's got a tiny bit left which we want to save for touch-ups because we really don't want to have to buy another tin. We're going to keep the tin, we're going to keep the receipt, and we've taken photos of the process so that when building control come to sign it off, we have proof that we have used the fire retardant paint. What we're going to do with the Blanc de Blanc, which is on the walls in this light, you can kind of see the difference. We're going to paint it in between the beams on this wall here because that's plastered, not wood. So then the only white will be the beams and the ceiling. We've painted the skirtings and the walls the same colour to give it more height, and it's feeling not pokey at all. Spending our first night in the loft, and look who's come to join us. Yes, no, Winnie. No. I put you to bed downstairs, Winnie. What are you doing up here? What are you doing?
You really left it open.
Mistakes in this room. The window, obviously. Our windows arrived from Denmark, so these have taken 9 weeks. They are so heavy and solid. It's wood, like pine on the insides and aluminium on the outside, so they'll never ever chip. Floor to ceiling length one, and then behind here is the bathroom one. Yes, I measured the windows wrong. The wrong size showed up. However, my builders are amazing and they spent the day cutting out the frame of the area. The window was 100 mils too big, so they had to cut out 100 mils. Okay, it was a very stressful day and it obviously was a huge inconvenience, but it's actually worked in our favour because we have a bigger window now than the one we originally had planned for the space, so it gives in additional light. And it is a floor to ceiling window and it looks amazing. Like, the window we ordered was the best idea because it is a north facing room. There's not a lot of light because it's the one light source in that bedroom when the ensuite door's closed, and having that floor to ceiling window gets all the light in. We had to go with a solid double glazed base for safety because it's a window, so only the top part opens. Aside from the window error measurements and then kind of lacking in storage, I am so happy overall with the room. Like, it was originally going to be a spare room, and then as like time crept on and they were finishing the room, we were looking around thinking this is the best room ever and we have to live in it. Like, it has to be our room because we're here all day every day. It makes so much sense. Even though the bedroom is not slightly ready, I've still not worked out what I'm going to do with the cushion covers and the picture. It's not working right now. However, I'm jumping a few steps ahead and I'm putting the foliage in the room. So I went to H&M Home and I just picked up some of their dry flowers. And then I've also got these faux flowers or twigs and foliage. Therapeutic, like arranging flowers and styling stuff. It is my favourite part of the project. The nice thing about these fake twigs is that they're wire inside, so you can bend them, so you can unbend them if you have a really tall vase, and then you can bend them all up if you have a shorter vase like this, and then you just stuff it inside and it will still hold quite nicely. There we go. So I very excitingly collaborated with West Elm on this video. So there are a few pieces from West Elm in the bedroom and I cannot wait to talk you through how we chose them and designed the room.
Okay, so the West Elm team arrive in less than 1 hour. I am not ready, the room is not ready. So the bones are in, we've got like the furniture and stuff, but I need to style this now. Also, how dark is it? It's such a dark morning. I've laid stuff out here and I've styled my vases already so that I can just easily place them in the room, shuffle stuff about and see what's gonna work. So I've got these and they're beautiful, made out of recycled glass. I've got two, so I was gonna do maybe one on each bedside, but I was speaking to Maggie in store the other day when I went and got them, and she was saying they might look nice together. So I'm thinking if they're gonna be together, they probably need to be on this console, but there's now like a lot of accessorizing here. So I might wait until we start the shoot to see what we do with that. I also need to put the succulents in them. We are shoot ready. So Brooke is back. Brooke actually shot the living room 2.5 years ago. I've not seen her since. And now we're doing the bedroom. So we've styled it a bit. So pretty pleased with it actually. We've had a little play around with stuff. These vases actually just ended up here. And then we've got all the foliage in the room, which looks great. Add a bit of greenery.
Looking good.
Looking, oh, look at that. Oh, looks like a hotel. We finally got the pillow arrangement right as well. It's looking fabulous. The interiors. This was such a fun room to design. So I was working with West Elm and their design team on this. I had a vision that was rustic modern, so obviously we're working with these beams. They are the main focal point of the room. Everything is going to kind of center around that. Also, I had to consider the fact that it was a north facing room, so the light wasn't amazing in the room. I knew that I wanted, you know, kind of like floaty linens, white walls, light and bright, but still having like a cozy feel to it. So we've got the soothing color scheme. We're going with white, 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 and now I'm thinking of how I can make it a bit cozier. So the bedding I picked from West Elm was the jersey soft cotton. It is the softest bedding in the whole wide world. It is amazing. It also doesn't need to be ironed when it comes out the wash, which is a really big selling point for me. Then we decided to go for a little bit of luxe in the bedside tables, just to kind of balance out the like soft whites of the room. We've obviously also got a pale kind of grey wash wooden bed, so everything's kind of like blending into the background almost, because it's just kind of like layered whites. So these black metal framed bedside tables are lovely contrast to that. We then decided to do a different type of wood for the chest of drawers. So it's the same furniture range as what the bed is, but we went for the acorn colour instead. So it's that like dark cherry kind of mid-century colour, and I just think it's quite a nice contrast so that everything's like not too bleached in the room. And then mixed it up with a little bit of vintage, so I picked up this console table at the Sunbury Antiques Market, which is where me and my neighbour go for our antique finds. I kept saying to like Fredide, like, I want this to be like Utah vibes, and I couldn't really explain it in any other way than that. It's like that, you know, the soft beams, the soft linens, the succulents. I have the desert picture with the Prada store above the bed. Rustic modern, basically, is what it is. Someone's come to join me. would you like to describe the room? Our bedroom?
Rustic modern.
No, you just heard me say that. That's not fair.
This bedroom here?
Yeah.
Hotel.
Hotel vibes. Hotel vibes. It does feel hotel vibes. Has someone else come to describe the room as well?
She's the senior interior woofer.
She is. And she's actually, unfortunately, not allowed in our bed anymore. Although she does like to go for a little cheeky nap in the daytime up there. So that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed another one of my room reveals, and if you have any questions then pop them in the comments and I will get back to you, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye!